Hello everyone, my name is Joe and welcome to another edition of Joe's Super Fantabulous PC Gaming Channel. Today is actually a sad day here. Today is February 27, 2015. It's a Friday. I had the day off and I thought I'd have some fun gaming. And I was playing the World of Warcraft. Of course, this is not it. The reason I'm here is that while I was in Warcraft and trade chat, I saw the pronouncement, which I was really hoping was some troll just saying ugly things. Claimed that Leonard Nimoy had died. And apparently, after searching some media outlets, I was able to confirm that in fact he has. He's passed away and he's no longer with us. So... well, it's kind of hard. I mean, he played a beloved character, and I enjoyed his work over the decades. He played that character for a very long time, but he also played some really good dramatic roles too. The man stood for things. He wrote some great books. If you haven't had a chance to read them, I do recommend them. And he was a photographer as well. He had an eye for art. I enjoyed some of his recent works, as a matter of fact, quite a bit. Oh, and so this is Star Trek Online, which is an online role-playing game. And as you can see, I'm a fan of the original series, where I was first introduced to Mr. Spock, as you can tell by the ship, the uniforms. And I thought I would take my ship and crew to the planet Vulcan, where I understand players are gathering for something of an impromptu wake, as they remember Leonard Nimoy. So Star Trek Online had just celebrated its 5th anniversary when this happened, unfortunately. Okay, set course for Vulcan. As you could see, I had to have the Constitution class starship for my ship. Star Trek Online is a free-to-play game if you're curious. You can try it for nothing, and I was determined to play it for free and never buy anything, but they dangled the Constitution class Enterprise in front of me for a few dollars, and well, Constitution class Cruiser, I'm sorry. Enterprise was just a specific ship in that line. So I couldn't resist. I became a paying member. In fact, I'm actually a lifetime member. Oh, look, and I can see I'm not the only one here coming to this wake in their classic ship. Wow, look how busy Vulcan is. I have never seen this many ships in Vulcan space before. So I'm not the only one who had that same idea. From what I understand, everyone's been gathering at the little ring here. So let's see. Now we'll see a wide variety of uniforms. Star Trek Online tries to make the game open to fans of every series and movie, and they make uniforms and props and ships available from all of them. So they take a middle ground approach. As you can see, there are a few players here. We even have characters from the animated series, the Cations. They made a brief appearance in Star Trek 4, but they were mainstays of the animated television series. If you've never had a chance to see the Star Trek animated series, although it was animated, the stories were basically continuations of ones from the original series. I was impressed at how good it was once you get to see it all in order. I believe it's all on Netflix. I bought a box set on DVD before it was available on Netflix and enjoyed all of them. And of all the classic episodes, one of my favorites that I was so happy to see go back and revisited in the Deep Space Nine series was The Trouble with the Tribbles, which of course featured Leonard Nimoy as well. They did a very good job of revisiting that episode without harming it, I thought. Star Trek II. In Star Trek II, the Wrath of Khan, Spock dies. No spoiler, but you should know this by now. But there's always hope, and there's already a little debate. Well, if there's going to be a memorial in Star Trek Online for Leonard Nimoy, what about James Doohan? What about DeForest Kelley? And, you know, I like to point out that keep in mind that they didn't have the opportunity to participate in Star Trek Online, and that's not a bad thing. That's not their fault. It's just time waits for no one. And Leonard Nimoy provided a lot of voiceover and voice acting for Star Trek Online, so in fact when you play this game you're immediately greeted by an introductory video narrated by Leonard Nimoy. And his voice follows you throughout the game as you go to explore new regions. He narrates quite a bit of it. I'm enjoying some Star Trek sound effects and music from the original television series, although if a fight breaks out, I do have my sword ready to go. So, head-to-head combat I am prepared for, but hopefully a phaser will do. And so, in this case, it's hard to see in the light, but I have my nice dress uniform on in order to properly dressed and show the appropriate amount of reverence for this occasion. Mega particle in the fountain. Oh, look at that. Oh, whoops, I forgot. I'm not going to do that. Although, you know what? It makes for a nice screenshot. look this way. There we go. I'll post that on the Star Trek Online group. As you can see, there are quite a few people here. I'm just grabbing some screenshots. This is one of those moments that's never going to come again. By the way, the amount of people that you see here is not indicative of the amount of people that are actually on Vulcan. The way that Star Trek Online works is that each world has a specific capacity, and when it reaches that maximum capacity, it spawns another instance of the world. Right now, I believe I think there's 20 copies of Vulcan running, all stacked up on top of each other, occupying the same space. This is a very easy concept for Star Trek fans to get, but for lay people it might seem a little different. That's the interesting thing. He did live long and prosper. That's the good part. And he seemed to be very choosy about the roles that he picked. He only seemed to pick ones that he believed in. And I don't remember anything that he ever took, simply for money, that detracted from his personal beliefs. In fact, he lent himself to some projects that were definitely not about the money, but were about their message. There was the one film about standing up to Holocaust deniers, and there are a few others. In fact, I'd like to recommend Wikipedia. Is at times kind of eerie in terms of how well it's updated, how accurate it is, and how quickly it seems to be in tune with current events. So by now Wikipedia has already been updated with all the information, and so now it contains a complete filmography for Mr. Nimoy. I encourage you to go through and see some of those dramatic roles that he took. We all know the Star Trek related roles, but it's those other very good ones that he took. He also wrote some excellent books, and I recommend them. He went through a phase and he wrote a book, I Am Not Spock, and then later he came to terms with it and wrote another book, I Am Spock. So he had some trials and tribulations to work through. Very interesting man. And I miss him already. Here's an interesting story. I've never told anyone this, but I'll go ahead and I'll share it with all of you. I was so intrigued by Mr. Spock that I was determined to learn how to do that trick with the eyebrow, where when Mr. Spock is intrigued, he'll raise a single eyebrow rather than both of them. By default, most people, when they're surprised, both eyebrows are raised in unison. I was determined I wanted to be like Mr. Spock. I practiced in front of a mirror for, I don't know how long, but I got it. I eventually got it. And I can control my eyebrows independently. It's funny, now I do it without thinking. People look at me strangely when they see the only one go up. Every once in a while, there's the tricky that gets it. Whoops, the server's getting overloaded. Saw that server not responding message for a moment there. If that happens too much, I'll get disconnected. There are a lot of people here. Like I said, many more than you can actually see, as multiple instances of the world pile up on top of each other. Almost like multiple dimensions, all sharing the same space. now I feel kind of inspired. And it's not atypical to have a memorial by having a ship. In Star Trek Online, I've always been curious to play a science officer, but I never have. I played an engineering officer and a tactical officer. Now I think I will play a science officer. And her starship will be the USS Nimoy. It just seems right. There are those people that you wish could live forever. He was one of them for me. But time waits for none of us. And death is a journey we all must take one day. My personal hope is that I'll be able to follow Mr. Nimoy in a similar fashion. Not in that I will be remembered by millions forever and ever, but that I can live without having compromised my principles. That I can go with my head held high and join those who went before me, and in their company not be ashamed. For I had led a good life. That's the funny thing about the internet. There was a time, a long time ago, when we were all separated by great distances, and I guess in a sense we still are. But through these types of mediums, through these types of events, wherever we are and whatever we're doing, we can still come together, even if only virtually. And I suppose that's the most important thing. That it is real to us is more important than the fact. Just for fun, I think I'm going to have a little Star Trek marathon this weekend. It's a good excuse to have a little ice cream and some beer. Go back and enjoy all the things that that I enjoyed initially. I don't know. I guess I'm just rambling here. Leonard Nimoy, wherever you are, I enjoyed your work. I applauded what you stood for. And you have my respect. I think you led a good life. Now, if the same can just be said of me one day, that'll be a victory. I have to be careful. Too many tempting things tempted me down the wrong path. We'll see. Until next time, this has been another edition of Joe's Super Fantabulous PC Gaming Channel.